And we're back with Beefy Boys episode 12, man. It makes me so just happy to say that, episode 12. We've been steady at it. The UFC's been giving us a steady diet of cards, and we've been returning that with a steady diet of Beefy Boys. Yeah, we're psychos and we have cups with our own faces on them. Call me a narcissist if you want. All right, let me get my Beefy brother on here. My guy.
There it is. How we doing?
Good, bro. We 12 deep. This is episode 12, brother.
I know, it's crazy. I know.
I
Like, how
love
many
that.
episodes do you think we're going to get in before coronavirus ends and before we leave this 25-foot octagon behind us forever?
That's really a great question. I mean, that's the $1 million question, right? I mean, when is normal coming back and all that? I mean, I wish I knew. I mean, I'm pretty much just considering it like 2021 at this point. Like, I don't know if that's pessimistic or
I think me too.
especially out here in Cali. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm in the Bay Area. We'll be one of the last places to open up for sure, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like everybody's super opinionated on this shit. And I'll be real, I don't know. Like I don't know what's best. Like I don't know if I want shit open or if I don't. Like I don't know what's best, dog. So
I don't know either, to be honest with you.
yeah, everybody has these super duper strong opinions and they're usually like tied to political leanings and it's like, "Oh, we need to open up," or "Oh, let's stay shut down forever." And it's like, fuck if I know, dog. Oh, that's what I like to say. He's about to get his head right. That's what's up, man.
Gotta twist a little bone up for the show.
There you go. First, Beefy Boys, after your birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Officially
Appreciate
on
it.
air. I'm
Appreciate
glad
it.
you enjoyed it. But dude, fucking theme of the night was just underdog
I
slash
know.
upset, right?
I
Like
know, dude.
if
Like,
we would have put $20 on every upset, we'd fucking have a new Beefy Boys studio.
yeah, I want to say there were six underdogs at one. Dude, if we had bet on Agapova and Shauna Dobson, we would have bought a whole house.
It's crazy, bro. And we're gonna get into it a little more in depth. But like, whenever I saw the card, like, I'll be real, like, I was anticipating this to be like the lamest card since we've been doing Beefy Boys. Like
Me
on
too.
paper,
Me
looked
too.
like
It
a
looked
dog
really
shit,
bad.
especially once Open St. Preux got Corona. Which
That killed me, dude. I like OSP. Like, I
yeah,
actually
no,
wanted to
me
see him fight
too,
for
me
sure.
too. And I mean, I definitely hope he's safe and all that, which I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure he is. But
I'm sure he's fine.
but like it's wild though, man. Like on paper, this looked like a dog shit card. Like I was not even stoked. Like I felt like this was gonna be work. Like I'm gonna watch this because I gotta do a Beefy Boys on it.
Yeah,
And then I was just so thoroughly entertained, just start to finish, bro.
I was honestly pretty blown away by some people that I had no idea who they were too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
The Jordan Wright guy. He looked phenomenal. Granted, his
A,
opponent didn't impress me, but
a lot of people, just seized the moment, like just took the opportunity and
good on him
and
for it too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like these are the times you got to do that, especially whenever there's no fans, not a lot of stuff to have to walk into outside the arena. Once you're in there, you just got to focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Like it's crazy, and like the first fight of the night really just set the tone and was like the theme of the whole night because they
Yeah.
came out and it
Oh,
was
dude.
Tamir Valiev versus Trevin Jones, and everybody was just like nut riding Valiev and just I mean he was supposed to mop the floor with this
Well,
guy.
he's one of Khabib's guys apparently.
Yeah,
Khabib and Islam Makhachev and all those guys all train out of Dagestan together, and so of course they get that Dagestani hype. And I don't know if you agree with this, man, but like that dude Islam Makhachev is a good example of like I'm not that impressed when I watch him fight, but he's Khabib's best friend, so everyone elevates him to this higher position, almost the same as they did with Artem Lobov when he was with Conor all the time.
yeah. You got to be careful doing that. You got to be careful doing that.
Yeah,
Like the whole they came out of this camp and all that
right.
because I mean we witnessed that being football players like certain guys that came out of certain high schools got way more hype and wouldn't be
Yeah,
nearly
it's a
as
good
good as
point.
some guys that we knew
It's a really good point.
and it happens I feel like in NFL like I feel like if you're a linebacker that goes to Alabama you're going to be a first round pick and a lot
I
of
would
those guys
say
flame out.
I'd say any defensive player in Alabama gets extra love that most other colleges don't get.
When in my reality, it should be the opposite way around. Knowing how
I agree.
defenses work, like if you're a linebacker with all five-star D linemen in front of you, or if you're a running back with all five-star O linemen in front of you, it should actually kind of like dampen the evaluation because you're like, you know what I'm saying? It's like grease skids. It's easier for you know. You like
Well, like here's a good example. Is like think about Khalil Mack at Buffalo. He's standing
that's
out,
so insane.
keeping their
That's
team in
so
games.
insane.
Yeah, I
Forget that he
know.
went to Buffalo. Shout out to
Right.
Buffalo.
And like, bro, like their team still lost like 5 games the senior year. Like that just shows you, like, obviously 11 men on the side of a
Yeah,
field.
football's a really weird sport. Football's a super weird sport. The only less weird sport than that is baseball, where you can have Mike Trout and be like fourth in the AL West every year. Like,
Shout out Angels.
yeah, it's bizarre, bro. Like I personally watch Mike Trout play a lot in person because like they're in the same division as the A's.
Yeah.
And usually Angels tickets are pretty cheap when they come to town, to be honest. And like and it's so weird, bro. Like Mike Trout will play like the literally statistical perfect game, and then they'll lose like 5-2. But Mike Trout will put up the 2 runs, and it's just like it's
I'm pretty
weird,
sure their first game this year he hit like 4 out of 5, crushed a home run, and their starting pitcher gave up 6 runs and they lost like 6-5. And it's like he just can't, you know what I'm saying? He can't do it all.
Yeah, they have a weird team, but this isn't the Beefy Boys baseball hour. This is indeed the Beefy Boys breakdown, and you got your bleezy twisted.
Yeah, you already know it.
Let's go ahead and
You
get
already
this
know
started
it.
off right. I got this little chillum. I'll go ahead and rip with you.
Hey, there we go. So as you're ripping, I'll lead it into. We have Timur Valiev versus Trevin Jones, as you were saying. Valiev was a big favorite, minus
favorite.
550. Trevin Jones plus 425. He was also Trevin Jones was joining from an alternate promotion and had just signed with the UFC. So this is essentially a guy taking a fight that no one else would take because he needed the opportunity.
Yeah, and essentially they were making it sound like they couldn't find nobody that was like wanted to smoke with Valiev. Like people were kind of scared of him, and like old boy Trevin Jones stepped up. I think they said like 6 days notice or something like that, something pretty wild. And that's why it was at catchweight. It was actually at
140. Because I think both guys would fight at 35, right?
Yeah,
or Trevin Jones would at least.
I'm pretty sure it's at 35, but he just didn't really have time to do a full cut, understandably, 6 days.
Shout out to him, dude. His performance was really good. Like cardio-wise, I mean, just cardio, I thought that he managed himself super well.
And shout out to Valiev for, being willing to, accept the new opponent on the fly and, just stay active, get his fights in. And that, because I feel like everybody always gives credit to the guy that takes the fight on short notice, but it's kind of a risk on the other side as well.
Oh, it's definitely a double-edged sword because, like, if you're preparing for a grappler for weeks and weeks and weeks and then they just toss you a kickboxer with 6 days notice, it's like, I hope I can strike. I hope I still have that.
In a football equivalency, it would be like preparing for a team that runs, like a super spread 4 wide receiver, offense, and then the day before game day they tell you you're playing a power I, triple option team.
Yeah, Texas, like Texas Tech and Ole Miss.
Yeah, no doubt. So it does make, from an athlete's perspective, I always try to equate football because that's what I play, and I know that as a defensive player in football that would have screwed me up. So yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Same as an offensive lineman.
So crazy first round. Valiev absolutely destroys him.
10-8. I mean, I had 10-8.
10-8 beats him to like with the inch of his life.
Like 50-5 in strikes. Like it wasn't even close.
I mean, head kicks, elbows. We're talking gnarly strikes. People.
Also, how tough is he, dude? Because he never even looked rocked. You know what I mean? He never even got on like quote unquote won't be PC but Queer Street. Like he was just never even there.
Yeah, no, Trevin Jones, tough motherfucker. But yeah, 10-8 first round for Valiev. And then, like I said, leading up to the fight, everybody was talking about how cool Valiev was, how great he was. So I'm sitting there like, Jesus, let's get on to this next fight. Like it's
same.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I literally expected Valiev to finish him in the second. It was fully my expectation was there was a finish coming within the next 5 minutes, and there was, but it wasn't the right way.
Yeah, and then so fucking out of left field, fucking spoiler alert, goddamn, fucking Trevin Jones just out of nowhere explodes. Was it a left or a right?
It was a right straight down the middle. Just a right straight, literally right into his face.
Like I said, this guy had been like just getting tore the fuck up for 2 or a round and like a quarter. And then he just comes with this right straight of death that just drops Valiev. And then he hops on and went to the nasty ground and pound for the finish. And it was funny. The ref even looked confused. Like the ref was like,
Ref
I
was
gotta
like,
stop this. Is this happening? Like, what just
yeah.
fucking happened? It was crazy. Like, the ref stopped it like, at an appropriate time.
And,
And he was just like, what the fuck?
and I will say, like, Valiev was big rock because you saw him still trying to wrestle the dude up on the cage after the ref had stopped him. Was telling him stop, stop, stop. He was
Oh
still
no,
trying to go.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the definition of why the phrase "puncher's chance" exists.
Literally.
If there was like a definition, like a video definition of the phrase "puncher's chance," I mean, Trevin Jones personified it. I mean, because he was, like I said, like he was losing a fight as badly as you can lose a
Oh,
fight.
like wasn't even close, dude. But then you noticed, I do want to point out that, like, I think his corner did a good job of telling him whenever he got back, like, hey, wasn't around or whatever, but like just stay calm, stay focused. Good job not losing your cool.
He did. He stayed calm. And I want to say this because I keep saying puncher's chance and all this, and I'm kind of making it sound like a fluke. Like, it wasn't a close your eyes and swing from the hip. As you mentioned, it was a right straight.
No,
So
like, he
it
sat
was
down.
timed and aimed, and like, it wasn't a fluke, and it wasn't like a swing from your hips, heavyweight kind of knockout. Like, it was like
Yeah.
like O'Malley-esque knockout.
What I appreciated about it was, like, I think because, like, I watched that knockout like 4 or 5 times, and what's weird is, like, you ever have that thing where you're watching a fight and something clicks in your brain that you see the two fighters doing, and then instantly it pays off? Like, that was what happened in this fight. Like, I saw Valiev's hands dropping in the second round. Like, when he opened the second round, his hands were way looser, and he starts going for these, vicious leg kicks, which I get because he dropped him with a body shot in the first, so he's just trying to batter him up, essentially. But, dude, whenever he went for that last leg kick that he got dropped on, his hands were literally by his, like, abs. And I said it out loud, and then, boom,
Wow.
literally, like, it was one of those, like, weird fate things.
He got too cocky. He really did. I mean, which kind of, like, with reason. Like I said, if you folks don't understand, if you didn't watch, like, 10-8 round, like debatably a 10-7 round, like, he absolutely wrecked him first round. He was throwing out shit like that you never see, like question mark kicks, axe
Dude,
kicks,
and landing them.
and then
Not the
landing
axe, but the
clean.
question mark kick was beautiful.
Yeah. And so, like, he was just like a kid pushing all the buttons on Mortal Kombat. Like, just
He was throwing like six-piece combos, like full combos.
It was insane. And then but like you said, whether it was him or whether it was Jones or his corner, somebody saw something, and then you mix that with the overconfidence and the low hands, and it just timed for bang, lights out. Trevin Jones by TKO in the second, like it was crazy. Like, he was a huge underdog, and like I said, it set the tone for the whole night. That's going to be the theme of the night.
I like set the tone too, because it literally set the tone, bro. Like, it wasn't like the underdogs were even like winning split decisions. Like, they were outright usually finishing their opponents.
No, it was which is what you kind of have to do as an underdog, because I do somewhat believe there's like an unconscious bias, not unconscious. I've been watching too many fights. Subconscious bias of like the favorite. Like, essentially, like, if you're an underdog, you kind of have to finish the other guy because you typically aren't going to get the decision. Typically.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, no, judges love to lean to a favorite or who they presume to be the better fighter.
Exactly. That happens, and that's just kind of like human nature, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that's necessarily like malicious or like dirty. I think it's just like how it happens in juries. Like, we all just have these like preconceived notions and shit that like dictate our decision making. But next we had we mentioned that last fight was at catchweight. But yeah, so the next
140,
we have Carlton Minus, which great name.
Yeah,
great
I
name.
know,
Carlton
dude.
Minus. I think I'm pretty sure Aljamain tweeted out something like, "This motherfucking name Minus."
Dude, when they were fighting, I literally said to my roommates actually watched the prelims with me, believe it or not. And
the gospel.
Yeah, I was just remarking on Simmelsberger's name being 12 letters and Minus's being 5, and how whenever they do the name bars, they have to make the nameplates the same length on each side just for like production value. Okay. So you see Minus's name is like this big and this big of a bar, and the Simmelsberger fills the whole bar, and I was just like, it looks goofy, man.
Yeah, no, this was an interesting fight. Simmelsberger, man, he looked good. It was his UFC debut.
Yeah, played at Marist
debut as well, or
I think Minus has one fight in the UFC before.
Yeah. So it was Simmelsberger's debut. They were fighting at 170 welterweight. And apparently, like Snellisberger was like a D1 AA football player, had a really
Marist,
good football
Marist,
career.
4-year safety, started
Yeah,
all 4
yeah.
years.
I think maybe like got in a couple of training camps or something, but yeah, didn't quite pan out in the league. But I mean, and you can tell he was an athlete. Like we talk about
Very
this all the
explosive.
time, like the scrappers and the tough guys versus like the athletes in the cage. He just physically looked and moved differently than the other guy, than Minus.
For him to be at 170 was pretty impressive to me too, because I'm
Well,
sure
they
he
said he
played.
played at 225. They
I was
said
gonna
that
say,
was the
I'm sure he
plan,
played
like,
above 205. Yeah,
which
so
just what that made me
ugh.
think of. It made me thinking of cutting down to 170, and I got a
Right.
stomach ache just thinking of it. But yeah, so he had his football credentials, but that doesn't always translate to the cage. But he just looked like a hell of a specimen in there. Had the mullet too.
Yeah,
And
a
I want
silky
to.
mullet.
Are we on like a what? What's the mullet win streak on Beefy Boys? At least three. At
5.
least
I think
three.
it's 5 because
Yeah.
we've seen
We've seen
Bozer
two
twice.
Bozer. Yep, we've
We've
seen
seen Simmelsberger. We've seen another mullet win, and then I think there was a girl mullet if we count that.
Oh, okay, getting spicy with it.
I don't know if we count that, but I think we do.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, definitely the asexual Euro mullets.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
factor in. But yeah, man. So just, I mean, I legit don't think we've watched a mullet lose. I mean, so spoiler alert, Semmelsberger takes this one, but I don't think we've seen a mullet lose on Beefy Boys Breakdown. I'm pretty sure.
Mullet's a strong fighting haircut, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. Apparently, like the proof in the pudding, man. But yeah, so round one, Semmelsberger, he was just landing the bigger shots. They were standing and trading pretty much the whole fight. They didn't really do much clincher on the ground.
Dude, the ending was marvelous. They just started letting it fly in the last 10 seconds. Dude, I respected the hell out of them.
They did, yeah. I had Semmelsberger winning all 3 rounds, and I'm pretty sure the judges agree with me.
Well, one judge scored at 29-28, which surprised the hell out of me. What round did he see Minus winning? Maybe the second?
The thing about Minus, bro, he never threw a single combo the whole fight. It was 1-2s
if ones or 1-2s.
And when he was throwing the 1-2s, only one of the 1-2s was landing. Like,
yeah,
I don't think he ever landed a 1-2. Like, it was literally one punch at a time landing, and so he was like sniping. But it was weird because traditionally that describes like a counter puncher, right?
But he was
like sniping. He wasn't trying to land a big counter. It was honestly a really weird strategy. I don't know if that was a strategy. I don't know if he turtled up and just didn't execute the game plan. Because like I said, no coach ever will tell you to throw one punch at a time, ever.
Oh, we're breaking out the big pieces now. Okay. No, you're right. Every striking coach will always teach you striking combos. They'll teach you single punches, but then they will teach you the combos as how you should use them to open up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you throw an uppercut, obviously it should suck their hands in. You come over the top. There's plenty of ways that striking opens more striking.
And let's also note that Minus was the shorter fighter. So, like, Minus needed to, like, get in, land a couple, and get out. He was almost fighting as if he was the taller fighter, trying to, like, just, like, land a couple single straights. It was a weird strategy.
He seemed way less athletic, too. Like, we were talking about what you were saying about Semmelsberger being an obvious athlete. Like, I thought Minus was the exact opposite. Like, he was, like, boxy body, like, clearly wasn't the most athletic guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, so I mean, and Semmelsberger, he did a good job of mixing it up. He was throwing kicks and just different kind of strikes. But yeah, and then so in round 2, Semmelsberger had the knockdown. He knocked Minus down with some big punches. And then in the 3rd round, he went ahead and secured it with the takedown with some more big shots. And so it ended up being a decision, I believe. Minus survived, but I mean, it was all Semmelsberger. I guess good on Minus for having a chin. And, I mean, landing some shots here and there, but I wasn't super impressed with Minus. And I was pretty damn impressed with Semmelsberger.
Yeah, I like Semmelsberger moving forward. Minus is stock, unfortunately, is a minus. I will say this. There's one really interesting point to note from this fight that carries forward to the main event. The scoring on this fight was really weird. One judge had it 30-27 like we did.
Yeah.
One judge had it 30-26. Which I didn't get. I didn't see a 10-8.
Was it that same middle judge all night with the screwy? I think.
So no, they rotate judges is the thing. There's 5 judges and you get 3 per fight, and they just rotate them. They get randomly drawn by the commission before the fight.
Okay.
So I like that process.
That's good to know.
But the problem was one judge scored at 30-27 like us, 30-26. I didn't see a 10-8, and then one judge scored at 29-28. So you're saying one judge literally had a 2-point swing the opposite way of another.
Which just goes to show, man, how arbitrary it is. Yeah, no, I
That's not
totally.
good.
No,
That's
it's
not
not
good.
good. Yeah, well, I mean, and like I said, I like to kind of fault the system more than the individuals themselves because there's literally no criteria. How the
Right.
fuck can you judge without criteria? That's
Yeah,
like
clearly
you
that's
write an
what's
essay and the teacher don't tell you, you know what I'm saying, if it's persuasive or if
right.
it's
If it's argumentative,
informative. Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly. Like how are you supposed to, gear it to? Yeah, I mean, we say it all the time. I mean,
it's probably the
UFC
hill we'll
needs.
die on, but
Yeah, I mean, UFC really needs to look. I mean, like I said, just vague guidelines. Takedown worth X, knockdown worth X, guy with more significant strikes worth X.
right.
Clinch control worth X.
Visual like perceived damage of strike. Like how hard is he getting hit, right?
Yeah.
Like because a jab is a lot different than a full ass uppercut. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, ground control. Exactly. Are we judging ring control or are we judging damage? Because
Apparently
those,
ring generalship is a judging standard, but they say it's only supposed to be if you can't determine a winner to the round due to like striking numbers and shit, which
yeah,
is
no,
already a weird thing.
yeah, it's very whack. It's very whack. I mean, it's set up. The thing is that whenever they, I guess, wrote the rules or whatever, they thought, oh, well, when two guys fight, there's an obvious winner and an obvious loser. I don't think that they like took into account like how evolved mixed martial arts would get and like how nuanced it would get and just
Right.
kind of how drastically different styles and yeah, I don't think it just factors all that in. I think they kind of factored it in on like some caveman like street fighting, like, oh well, somebody's gonna get beat up and somebody's
Right.
not, and it'll kind of work itself out. And as we've seen time and time again, that's just kind of not always how it goes down. But next, we had Ike first team all beefy Villanueva.
Yeah. Yeah. He is a beefy bro. 205.
I don't know how that guy made 205. Like he made 205 look like 260.
And then
That
the
was
other
a
guy,
rough 205.
and yeah, and then the other guy made 205 look very light. Like he looked like
Yeah,
he weighed maybe 200 in the cage.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It was Jordan Wright? Was that the Beverly Hills guy?
Yes, Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Ninja. Great nickname.
Hilarious nickname.
He
He was a weird
great
dude.
skills. I'm looking forward to seeing what this guy can do. Because I mean, let's be real. Villanueva they threw him a bone on that one because that was his debut, right? Jordan Wright's debut.
Yeah,
They did him
Villanueva was a
solid with that
can.
debut. They did him solid with that debut.
Jordan Wright was only a minus 110, dude. And I thought that was laughable. Like you could have made a lot of money on that.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Like bet 110 to win 100, that's damn near double your money up, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it was a light heavy. It was a 205. Villanueva. I don't know how you look that fat at 205. Like legit, unless you're like
Ask
5.
DC.
True that. 'Cause, like, bro, like even me right now, bro. If I dropped 20 pounds to get down to 205, I would be ridiculously jacked.
You'd be looking svelte.
Like, how are you fat at? And I'm only 5'10" for those wide. Like, how are you fat at 205 unless you're like at like 5'6"? So I don't know. I pretty much knew he was gonna lose. Like, I mean, that just shows discipline. Like, do you even train, dog? Like, it looks like you can't. Like, you can. I couldn't sweat every day and still look like that. But like, yeah. So I mean, what it was first round, and the doctor actually stopped it because Jordan Wright was landing some beautiful tie clinch knees
I
to
mean,
the
like 4 or
head.
5 in a row.
Yeah, like clean, really
I
clean
mean,
knees.
oh, strong
Yeah,
knees.
and because I mean, Wright was all athletic and flexible, and Villanueva was all stumpy and stocky, so it just like lended itself to some gnarly just knees to the face in the tie clinch, and the ref paused it right because the eye it was literally like squirting blood like a fucking movie.
Bro,
Like it
a
was like
piece of his brow was like hanging down over his fucking eyelid.
it was gnarly. Like if you were eating fucking some dinner, I don't know about that
Oh,
at
dude.
that moment.
Oh,
And,
dude.
and it was bad, folks. And like and then so the ref stopped and the doctor literally didn't even like bust out the flashlight. The doctor got within like 6 feet of him and was like, "It's over, homie." Like for real. Like I mean maybe I'm exaggerating that, but like the doctor looked at it for like 0.1 seconds and then determined that it was a wrap.
Oh, dude, that's what I was gonna say. Is that the doctor walked in and instantly was like, No, no,
Yeah,
this is over.
yeah,
You're like that, like
he
barely
didn't
squinted and was
even,
like, oh.
yeah. Like I feel like as soon as it like got in his field of view, he was like, nope. He didn't like get close to it. He
Yeah.
didn't like no. It was
And
just
I love
like
how, oh yeah, he goes, oh, okay. Goes to the ref and goes, yeah, it's over.
yeah,
just
it was
like,
bad.
look, it took 2 seconds for him to look and tell the ref
He probably
all
looked
of it
at
was
the
over.
eye and then looked at his physique. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to save you. I'm going to save
do
you.
you a favor, homie. This guy's a killer over here.
Well, the other note I had on this was that Villanueva was like protesting it as a stoppage.
What
I
a
thought that was
chode.
hilarious.
What a fucking chode.
And then I also thought that that's actually a really good stoppage from the ref, because if you think about what can happen with where that's cut at right here, if that rips down into his eyelid, we're talking like permanent eye damage. Maybe not
Yeah.
visual, but like the way your eye will function. Like, so
Yeah.
that's a good time to stop a fight.
That's a great time to stop a fight, and just on the base principle, like he wasn't gonna win the fight.
He's getting his ass worked in
That's
2
how
minutes.
I like to like judge my stoppages. Like if it's an early stoppage that a guy has no chance of winning, you won't hear me bitching. But if it's like an early stoppage on a guy who I know for a fact has a chin and has knockout power, I'm like, yo, like that fight easily was not over yet. So that's how I like kind of, and so like, dude, yeah, I have zero problems with the stoppage on Villanueva. He shouldn't even have been in the same cage as Jordan Wright. I
Yeah, the
doubt
odds
we'll
were
see him in
crazy.
the UFC again. Meanwhile, I'm looking forward to seeing what Jordan Wright can do. I didn't know, man. He looks like a small 205er though.
Yeah, he said
looks
he
like
said he
could
fought up.
probably.
He said he fought up.
Oh, word. He looks like a middleweight. Word. That
Yeah,
makes
he
a
is.
lot more sense. I think he's gonna be gnarly at middleweight. I mean,
He's 11-0.
gnarly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, seriously, because at 205, I was just gonna say, just eye test, he doesn't necessarily look like a 205er, but at 185, man, he's gonna be a problem, I think. We didn't really get to see his grappling tested, but a good fucking counter for grappling is tie clinch knees. That's a good.
Hell yeah.
So I mean, he's definitely got something working for him.
And he landed that spinning heel kick to open the fight.
He did. That was beautiful. I'm really glad you brought that up. That was badass. Hell yeah. I mean, he looked like crispy striker, and he's very young. I forget his exact age, but I mean, early 20s, right? I mean, at
105 or 185 is loaded.
It is. UFC's never been deeper. We say it every podcast. It's with the exception of heavyweight, it's really never been deeper. Our next fight, though, I think was the only female fight on the. Or no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
There was one more.
But man, it was Amanda Lemos versus Mizuki Inoue, and it was a great fight. I was entertained by this fight. I thought they really got after it. It was a really interesting stylistic matchup. And I really honestly walked away impressed with both ladies.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I thought Lemos looks pretty good moving forward.
Oh, Lemos looks really nasty, but Mizuki looks insanely tough and insanely strong and insanely just like mentally tough and just a grinder. Like, I mean, yeah, because she was on the wrong end of a lot of nasty strikes and just kept coming forward. But it wasn't all heart and balls. Like she was like like using some nice technique. But
yeah, her grappling was nice too.
Her grappling, yeah, like her she got outclassed on the feet, but she did everything you want a fighter who's being outclassed on the feet to do to keep the fight going and to stay alive and to give themselves a chance. And that's what she did. She ended up losing, but like I said, I thought she showed a lot. Like I said, I didn't walk away from this fight necessarily like disappointed in either fighter. It was a strawweight bout at 115. I had round one was big. Do you think round one was maybe a 10-8 for Lemos?
It was. I thought it was close, but I did score
it. The takedown and the knockdown in the same round. But yeah,
I did score it 10-9. It was close to a 10-8.
Yeah, like on paper you see takedown, knockdown, and it seems like a 10-8. But I gave it 10-9 as well. Just eye test, it didn't look like a 10-8. I want to ask you, though, for sure. And then, actually, how did you score round two? Because I literally had round two as a toss-up, like maybe leaning Mizuki because of clinch control, but I had round two as a complete toss-up. It was so close.
I said second round was super close, but I think Lemos wins.
Okay.
That's what I wrote.
It was super close. It was super close. I think Lemos probably caused more damage.
Right. That's something what I valued.
He had some pretty good clinch control time in that round. So yeah, like we said, just whatever the judges happened to like be feeling at that moment, you know what I'm saying? Who fucking knows? And we both disagreed. So I'm sure a couple of them disagreed as well. That's what I'm learning. And then round 3 was definitely Lemos. Definitely, she cut Inoue's eye in that round and really just started to kind of pour it on. It was very clear that, like, you know, she was winning the fight.
Right.
And then, yes, like Inoue, like I said, she had great forward pressure. You know, she had some moments of good clinch control and good grappling. She just failed to really cause any damage.
Right. Yeah, she just couldn't land anything that was, like, effective or clean. She had a lot of control, but didn't cause any damage. So it's like.
And she took quite a bit of damage herself. So, yeah, I don't think there's really any debates as to who won this. But like I said, I still think Mizuki, you know, turned in a good performance and, you know, definitely has some things to build on going forward. Because, like, the thing is, though, like, she's just kind of a stumpy build, so I don't think she'll ever be, like, an elite, like, striker. Like, fighters like Lemos will give her problems. But there's a lot of girls that she would fuck up. I think Mizuki is just going to be, like, a stylistic type of matchup type fighter.
I thought it was cool to see Aljamain Sterling be her cornerman, too. That was pretty cool. He was good, too. He was good.
Right?
Yeah, he was good.
I think he does more cornermans than we do Beefy Boys breakdowns. Which is cool because that just proves he just loves being around it. He loves helping other fighters on their way up. I think
plus a high fight IQ.
Oh yeah, and I think he's such a cool dude. Like I'm a huge Aljo fan.
Yeah, oh yeah. Funk Master, Human Backpack,
wait to see him fuck up
Aljo.
Peter Yan. I think he's gonna fuck up Peter
Yan. Yeah. Oh. We're putting a beefy bet on Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah. I'm putting my money where my mouth is on Aljo.
I will too.
I don't care if he's a favorite or whatever. I'll give money on that. Like
I will too. Yeah, because I like him in that fight.
No doubt. Let me see.
That's actually it for the prelims too, right? Because they moved Austin Hubbard and Joe Selecki up. Because over in St. Preux tested positive, so.
But yeah, great night of fights, man. If you didn't watch this one, because I'll be real, this card didn't look dope on paper, but it panned out. Like I was kind of doubting it, so I know some people out there may have been like, "Oh, I'm not gonna watch this one," but if you didn't watch it, you missed out.
We have Harrison on here. My guy.
Hey, what up?
I'm back for this main card, man. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Like for real though, I know it just kind of bums me out because I know there's people out there kind of like we were clowning on this card that like, especially once St. Preux got scratched, they were like, you know what? I'm not gonna watch this one. It seems like a white card, but man, it turned out to be so dope. Like it was
a good card, honestly.
Like just visually watching it.
It did suck though whenever that happened.
Oh, it did. And like, but just the fights that remained, like, just made it like, I don't know, worth it. Like, I don't know, like all the upsets and just chaos and bangers and finishes.
Oh, yeah.
Like from it provided from that perspective what you want a card to provide. But yeah, I definitely just ripped a fat dab in between, and I'm definitely nice and baked. So sorry if I'm stumbling over my words, but yeah, man, let's get this main card cracking. It was Daniel Rodriguez and Dwight Grant, and this was another insane fight.
Yeah, this fight was so good.
Do you think
I could not have been happier with this fight?
This was my fight of the night.
Let me look. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. I just had to make sure there were not any other because like Mike Rodriguez was pretty nice, but it wasn't like a fight of the night. It was like a finish of the night.
Yeah.
And the Rodriguez's they got me confused with that.
Yeah,
with that same name shit. But yeah, this fight was crazy. This fight was so Grant like almost finishes Daniel Rodriguez, right? Yeah. Almost finished. I was surprised as hell the ref didn't stop the fight. He gave him a lot of chance.
Exactly.
More chance than most people would give.
Exactly. Like a different ref, and this fight is over with in the first
100%.
round.
If it's Herb Dean, it's over.
Yeah.
Herb Dean, it's over. For sure. And shout out to that ref for not stopping it and giving the guy a chance to recover.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's that fine line, right? It's the finest of lines. It's that balance because, I mean, sometimes we kill refs for letting it go too long. but this was a perfect example of how far you should let it go because guys can come back from the fucking brink of death.
Yeah, and Rodriguez the whole time, to his credit, was covering up, trying to get up.
He
You know
was.
what I mean?
He really was. He kept like turning and then like trying to get to his feet and shit.
And the ref, Chris Tione, shout out to Chris Tione, kept telling him, fight back or stand up, fight back or stand up. And the guy did it.
He did.
He followed
Yeah.
commands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So,
what a
like,
tough son of a bitch, though.
I mean, super tough because he got dropped with a nice clean right hand, like a big right hook as he's stepping in, you know, on off a combination. Which shout out to Dwight Grant, San Jose. Shout out to San Jose.
Yeah, I was gonna note that he's fighting out of San Jose. I bet he's fighting out of AKA. I imagine he bet if not, he probably should be. But
Probably.
yeah, so I'm telling you, there's a lot of fighters here in San Jose. It's dope.
But let me ask you this: like, it's Rodriguez officially, as they noted in the broadcast, by KO. That wasn't a KO. It was definitely a TKO.
See, that I just at this point it's one and the same, right? I mean,
For me, it is. It is.
Like
you stopped him out with punches, or you would have knocked him out eventually. Is like what TKO is to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't make sense to me how they kind of classify it, but to me, it's one and the same at this point. It still goes in the knockout column. And yeah, so like, yeah, Dwight Grant was like as close to winning this fight by finish as you can essentially possibly be, and then like straight out of like it was essentially like some Rocky Balboa. Like if you were watching a boxing movie and this shit happened, you would call bullshit. Right?
Right,
like,
yeah.
You'd be like, oh, there's no way he's eating all those and then bouncing back. Like,
there's no way he's going to eat 30 to the side of his head.
I watch real fights all the time. That wouldn't happen. But it fucking did. It was like just ass whooping city, and then he just fucking came back from the brink. And at first, my memory, I thought it was like a 2 different round situation, but all this happened in the first
for one round.
round.
Yeah. I think it's candidate for round of the year. To be honest,
round of the year. That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, I don't. So much happened in one round. Like it's crazy. Like it seemed like a 2-round fight, like in my memory, but it was one round.
The official time is 2 minutes and like 50 seconds.
That blows my mind, bro. It blows my mind. Like my memory is like not equating that like number. Like I don't know. So much happened. Like for those that didn't watch it, like
dude, it was a war. It was just a war for 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was like a fucking like game of Tekken for fucking 3 minutes. Like seriously, like this. Oh man, yeah. Round of the year, I definitely out of round of the Beefy Boys era for goddamn
sure.
For goddamn sure. There may have been something crazy that happened on one of those cards we didn't pay as much attention to back then. But
Shane Burgos and Josh Emmett, their second round, they have something to say about it.
Yeah, but the fact that even made it to the second round, the fact that all of this happened, like you said, inside of 3 minutes, just like to me, wins that argument for Rodriguez and Grant. But yeah, I mean, hopefully both of them get a bonus for fight of the night. I mean, because I think it was fight of the night. I mean,
I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure it was. I mean, it couldn't not be, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, so Rodriguez ends up winning by TKO or KO, I guess apparently. But
yeah, weird.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I don't see that was such a crazy fight that I don't even know what to take away from that. Like skill level wise, you know what I'm saying? That was just like a banger. Like I don't know that. To me, that fight was just all heart and balls and chin. Like that wasn't like a technical fight. Like I don't walk away from this fight knowing how good either of these fighters are moving forward. I just walk away knowing that like probably not anybody's real excited to fight him anytime soon. Like they don't seem like fun guys to fight.
No, not at all. I mean, Dwight Grant looks
sure.
like a real tough out, and Daniel Rodriguez was on like a 6-fight win streak or something like that. So it sounds like he was a guy that, I mean, he's minus 200 or 210, something like that. Did you know what it was exactly?
I didn't write down the odds, but
I think
it was another
210.
underdog, right? He was an underdog too.
No,
right?
no.
He was one of the favorites that won.
Yeah, because I thought Dwight Grant was going to win and keep the underdog thing alive, which was crazy.
It was close. It was real close. That's right. Because it would have been another.
Right.
It was real close to being another one
right.
for sure.
But
Yep.
yeah, shout out Daniel Rodriguez for avoiding that, coming back, hitting him with some big left hands, and then finally finishing him with a big clean right up against the cage before the ref pulled him off.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. Honestly, I want to go back and just rewatch that, just like for my own viewing
I mean, 3 minutes,
pleasure. Like,
it doesn't even
yeah.
take that long, it's
Anybody
great.
that has ESPN Plus, you can just go back and rewatch the cards, right?
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or you can just look up that fight specifically. They'll just clip
Oh,
it.
dope, for sure. If this next fight was
Jesus, I mean,
insane.
we'd make our house payment on this one right here.
Yeah, man. Anybody out there, one of her friends I would have, like, if I was like,
Yeah.
Shayna Dobson's friend or home, fucking
Well, yeah, I'll
whoever.
throw 20 on you.
Yeah. Just, I mean,
20 is gonna net you 160.
So she was plus 800, right? And
Yeah,
then
stepping in.
Maria Agapova was minus 1250.
The biggest favorite I've ever seen, I think, in a UFC card.
I saw it on Twitter, like one of those ESPN MMA accounts or something. They looked it up. It was the biggest UFC betting upset ever. Second in MMA, there was some other promotion that I'm like, why are we kind of factoring this in?
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of a smaller promotion, but
Shouldn't count.
or you know what? And maybe it was Pride, or it was something. It was some other promotion or some old school shit but it was the second MMA across all promotions, but first in UFC betting favorite upset ever. So
Jesus.
yeah, so they were fighting at flyweight 125. And it's crazy. So whenever I was like preparing for this fight, in between fights, and this fight was coming up, I was getting ready to just write scathing notes about how they were insulting us with a 3-4 fighter on the card. Like, what are we doing here, Dana? Like, I know we're scraping the bottom of the barrel and putting on fight nights every week, but god damn it. Like, I was swear, bro, I was getting ready to just like go in. I was planning like a whole like stand-up routine on having 3-4 fighters, on my fucking main card. And like how that was an insult to every UFC fan. Like, I swear, bro, I was salty. Like, I didn't like Shauna Dobson before I even knew her because I was just insulted. What I'm talking about, her record is 3-4 overall.
Holy.
Going into this fight. That's why she's such a big underdog. And,
Her record's terrible. She's just now 500.
Yeah, and so I was just like salty about that. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, you know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? Like, is this a fucking truck stop fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like stripper fight, or is this a goddamn UFC? But have to eat all the crow in the world. So like, because she shocked the world. This is like as close to like, I feel like Rocky Balboa. Not really, but like, I mean, huge upset. She made me eat all crow. Shauna Dobson, you're a badass. You did your thing. You silenced all the haters, including my purple do-rag wearing ass. So, I don't know. Like I said, I was so prepared to just go in on the fact that we're having just fighters with losing records on main cards now. Like, that's what we're doing here. But, hey. But
you got ready to blast off.
Yeah,
I was just going to note that Agapova, or I think it's Agapova, she called out after her last win. She called out Shauna Dobson, and that's why this fight happened. And it's
really?
like, she said
we watched that fight. We did a Beefy Boys on that. I just forgot who she called out.
She said Shauna Dobson quit running from me, and it's
so
like
this was personal. It sounds like to me. Like maybe they know each other.
I guess, but like to be minus 1250, why are you calling out someone that's a plus 800? Like that's not even good for your career. And then you go out. Blow your load.
Why I'm saying it has to be personal, because business-wise, it makes zero sense.
Well, she fucked herself because she went out, blew her load in 5 minutes, and then just quit. I mean, she just quit. Like, shout out Dobson because she finished her, but like, Agapova literally just quit in the second round, like rolled over and quit.
Yeah, so let's get into that, because I mean, we can go into how big of an upset it is all day, but how did it actually happen? So round one. Agapova, or whatever, Maria Agapova, she came out, and like I said, I'll use the metaphor again. She was like a little kid playing Mortal Kombat, pressing every button. I mean, just doing crazy combos, kicks, just like you said, shooting her load, just literally like just not like just thinking going for the first round finish, like obviously, like that was her game plan. First round finish, highlight, boom, clout, all that. And like she just came out just like literally like just like a kid pressing every button on a fighting video game, literally just crazy combos, just insane pace, like an unsustainable pace. Like just yeah, like a video game pace. It was just bizarre.
Yeah.
And then I mean, Dobson just weathered the storm, and I mean, she was a big girl. Like she was like a very athletic, muscular, like just solid, sturdy looking girl. I mean, our lady woman, you know, like she was very, very athletic and strong. And so, like, she just weathered the storm, and none of those shots landed that clean. Like, credit to Dobson's defense. She was covering up. She was moving. She was this. She was that. She was zigging and zagging. And like I said, just Agapova just shot her load in the first round. So, I mean, I say definitely Agapova won round one just on the scorecards. But as far as just inflicting, like, return on investment for that much output, I honestly say
no, yeah, like you would think that with the amount of strikes she was throwing that she had landed like a really clean shot and tried to like get a finish, but she was just like throwing insane amounts of combos and really
like
just
throwing
like
for the sake of throwing.
right. And it was like, hey, why don't you like play the dance a little more? Like she was just trying to lead the whole thing, and it was like you could tell, man, you could tell like when she came out, she was acting all goofy. She's also 22 years old, like. That girl's just got to take a minute, man.
It has to be personal or something. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, It reeks of personal to me. Either that or just like reading your own newspaper clippings, as they say. Like,
that's more what I think it was.
You think that's more
she's like she believed her own hype
work.
way too much. Yeah, and was like, I'm gonna run through a bitch
She
and put her on my
like
knockout reel.
Yeah, exactly. She thought it was like sparring or just highlight Real City or something. Yeah. Yeah.
So her stock went way down for me, and then she quit in the second round. So
yeah,
she'll probably come back, have a nice redemption, and like she'll still be in the UFC, obviously. But man, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
So yeah, and then just to finish up the actual breakdown, Dobson in the second round, pretty early in the second round, took her down and did ground and pound finish for the TKO. And huge upset. Shout out to whoever cashed in on that. Hopefully somebody did. And good on Shauna Dobson for shutting everybody the fuck up, because I was getting ready to just roast her ass here on Beefy Boys, and then now I'm like a fan. I mean, good on her, and I mean, not shame on you, Maria Agapova, for buying your hype or shooting your load or whatever, but you got to take every professional fight seriously. Like, you know,
were you laughing at Dobson yelling underdog and then barking like a dog after the finish?
I wasn't laughing. I thought it was dope. I was like fucking with it. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, talk your shit. Yeah, no doubt. Like, yeah. I mean, because that was a disrespectful number. I mean, I would love to know the story behind her record, because I know sometimes like maybe she got shafted by some judges on a couple of those or something, because or I don't know, maybe she took some fights really early in her career and then she went in the gym and put in work and got better. I don't know, but that's really interesting that she had that 3-4 record and now she's at 4-4, but coming off a really big win. So who knows where her career goes from there? What a crazy story. That's what's so great about MMA and UFC, like these bizarre like stories and how it all kind of pans out. It's not because we're dealing with individuals, not establishments. So like there's no Dukes, there's no Alabamas, there's no New England Patriots, there's no, you know what I'm saying? Like
everyone's like independent.
It's independent, so like the ebbs and the flows are so drastic, and it just and you're dealing with individual people, not like establishments. Like this, what this guy decides to eat for breakfast fucking impacts like the you know what I'm saying? It's not like a organizational where there's cushion and other people can compensate for the, you know, the squeaky wheel, or it's just one person. Like, so like it's fighting is a weird league. UFC is a weird league. Fighting is a weird sport, and that's what makes it so entertaining for me, just following it as closely as we have been lately. But yeah, this next fight, super entertaining as well.
Great fight. Got moved up from the prelims in place of the OSP fight.
That's right. That's right. And so good on them. Getting a little more exposure, hopefully.
Yeah,
Austin Hubbard versus Joe Solecki. This is our second time watching Joe Solecki fight, right?
and Austin Hubbard. I love Austin
And
Hubbard.
yeah.
But yeah, a second time for both guys. Both
They're
guys coming
fighting
off a
at
win last
lightweight.
time. Yeah, 155. Uh, I would just like to say that Joe Solecki being on his back for as long as he was, usually that will wear a guy's legs out, and kind of gas him.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he was really using much energy to stay on his back, man. He looked
could
really
sit there
comfortable
all
back
day.
there.
So,
I was impressed by that.
Yeah, let's break that down. So he had a body triangle, but instead of being like laying down, grappling with the body triangle, Austin Hubbard was standing vertical and Solecki was on his back with the body triangle, like working for subs and like landing shots. But he held that position on their feet. They both held it for what was like 3 minutes or something.
Probably about 3 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts. And it honestly looked like Solecki was straight chilling there. He could have done that all day.
He looked so comfortable there.
Yeah, his core is so strong. I mean, yeah, and it was a really effective technique. I mean, he took his back. So I mean, they didn't even make it out of the first round. He ended up actually getting the sub
from that position.
From that position, but it wasn't instant. Like he worked that for just
like
little
3 minutes,
little
like you said.
little shots, loosening them up, trying to get under the chin, trying different subs. And eventually just one got under. It was essentially just like a battle of attrition. Just like I'm sure eventually Hubbard just got tired. I mean, like that. It was crazy. You don't see that position held for that long that often. Like you really.
Yeah,
don't.
like usually a guy's legs gas out and they let it go, and then they.
Do you think that Hubbard maybe should have tried just falling over, like taking it to the ground or something?
I mean,
or that's probably even more dangerous.
If he got choked from standing. He probably should have pulled off the cage. He was trying to rest on the cage, right, to, I guess, give his legs a break. Well, it also gives the guy that's on your back a break because, he doesn't have to hold on to you as much because he can, kind of rest his weight on the cage, too. Yeah. So, I think he should have
He should have done something else because he just pretty much stood there. Like, Hubbard just essentially stood there with his back taken. Like, if he would have survived the round, it probably would have been a 10-8 round.
Yeah. I think the move there is that whatever side the foot is on for the body triangle, you try and get
roll into that side.
You try and get that foot wherever their foot is their heel is, right? Like wherever the pad of their foot is down, you get that over toward the cage, and then you go down to the cage and try and roll and
scrape it off.
Yeah, and use the corner right there to essentially get them off of your back.
Yeah, man. I guess he just panicked, or I don't know. But, yeah, because Austin Hubbard's a good fighter. Like I said, we've seen him on the Beefy Boy breakdown before. But and I'm sure he'll move forward with his career. But Solecki, good on him. That's 2 wins in a row. It's a lightweight stacked. He's looking impressive, though, because I think his win before this was a knockout. And then he gets the sub, and the very impressive sub at that. He's looking nice. I don't want to hype him up too much. And that division has a lot of killers, but – he's a nice little prospect on the rise for sure.
I will also note that if Hubbard just peels the body triangle off, it's going to be pretty tough or pretty easy for him then to spin as he's peeling the legs off. Even if the dude's locking up the choke, he's going to be able to spin and face him, right?
Yeah, that's what he needed to do is to face him for sure. Regardless of how he got there, that's what he needed to do, and he wasn't able to. So
shout out to Solecki for being able to control that position like that.
That was really impressive. It was really impressive. And that's one of those fights where maybe a more casual fan or whoever, maybe thought that would have been a boring fight. But I was sitting there, entertained as fuck because,
yeah, me too.
It was just, a rare technique that you don't see used that often. But, yeah, moving forward, we had Martine Prachnio versus Mike Rodriguez. We have the second Rodriguez of the night, which is going to fuck my memory of these guys up for sure.
Mike Rodriguez had crazy long arms and legs.
Mike Rodriguez is the large black Mike Rodriguez, right?
Yes, his body was built so crazy.
So, 8-inch reach advantage over Prachnio.
He used it too.
He did, which is I love when fighters do. As we talk about it all the time, these guys with these reach advantages that somehow always get caught in the clinch or dirty boxing, and So whenever a long fighter is able to, maintain that distance, I always appreciate that. They were fighting at light heavy 205, and man, Rodriguez is going to be an interesting 205er, man. Moving
Yeah, I kind of
forward.
like him moving forward. He has good tools.
Yeah, like that build does well in this division. We've seen it a lot of
sure.
times. We've seen it. It's an undeniable advantage because there's a lot of 5'11" guys and 6-foot guys, and if you're fucking 6'3" or just have these crazy reaches, it's an undeniable advantage for sure. Not as much in a small apex cage, but especially once they get back to the full size cage, which I'm honestly ready for. I'm kind of over it. Like,
the small cage is cool at first, but like it doesn't seem really professional to put them in the small cage.
Like, and then there's gonna be no
I think amateurs should fight in a small cage to force action. You know what I mean?
Like,
but I think professionals need the space to work.
Like, this isn't baseball. This isn't golf, where every course is different and every field has different dimensions. Like, let's make this like football or basketball. Like, all the courts, all the fields, same fucking size. Like I don't like that. But yeah, man. They were fighting at light heavy. Man, Mike Rodriguez, first round, TKO with the clinch elbow. Nasty elbow dropped him.
Yeah, disgusting elbow. It was a really huge left elbow. Dropped him, and then, he put him out. You know what I'm saying? Those two, he landed on the ground when Prachnio was down. Because the elbow was like a hard shot where Prachnio was pretty much hands to his side. And then he ate two clean shots across the face and was like out. Felt bad for him, but that's honestly like how I'm used to seeing fights finish. You know what I mean? Where the ref lets that happen and doesn't step in before that happens, which I think that's okay.
That's okay. It wasn't like horrendous.
Like, this didn't seem vicious.
No. It was well within the bounds of what you sign up for in a mixed martial arts fight for sure. Rodriguez, interesting moving forward though. Man, was he an underdog too? I think, was he or no?
No, he was also a favorite.
He was a favorite for sure, man. But yeah, he'll be interested moving forward. I don't think Prachnio was that challenging of an opponent for him. So, I imagine his next time out, get a little step up for competition. I walked away from that knowing that Rodriguez is dangerous and can finish. But other than that, he not a lot was really tested, so I didn't really learn that much. It was over pretty quickly, but learning that a guy can end a fight quickly is learning something. Not everybody can do that. So he looks like a dangerous man moving forward. And
he knows to use his length well with the elbows and the clinch, all that stuff. So
those bottom level 205ers, there's some fucking assassins in there. That's for real. There's some real killers down there at the bottom of 205.
Not to even mention Prohaska.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oof.
Yeah, these are all guys that are not even they're not even in the top 10, not even. Yeah,
but just some murderers out there.
Murderers, like unranked murderers. Or is Prohaska ranked now?
He probably is. I need to check, but they don't rank him more than once every month or every 2 or 3 weeks.
It's not after every fight. I don't think it's not after.
Yeah, every fight, unfortunately not.
Well, it probably used to be after every fight. They didn't used to have fights every week.
Right, yeah.
About it.
And most guys don't fight within a 2-week span unless you're Hamzat Chimaev. So
yeah, man. I can't wait to see where he fights next too. Man,
watching the Ocean smash.
Next is the main event, and oh my God, how fun was that?
What a crazy fight, dude! I love this fight so much. Pedro Munoz is fun as hell to watch. And honestly, they said he was number 5, by the way. It's a bantamweight fight. Frankie Edgar's first fight at bantamweight.
Number 5 ranked bantamweight. Let's just talk about that. His first fight in the division, and he takes on a top 5. Shout out to Dana for giving him the benefit of the doubt and putting respect on his name essentially by even just matching up that fight. But goddamn, honestly, going into it, I was like, why did Frankie Edgar take this fight? I was like, why was this the path? Why was this the best choice? I was just kind of confused as to why he would go about it this way. But goddamn, he knew something I didn't, obviously.
Apparently his coach has been telling him he should go to 135 for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
Which makes sense because he's 5'6", right? So it's honestly, it blows my Well, you know what? The 155 division changed a lot, and even 45. Like I feel like back in like the day when Frankie Edgar was getting started, there wasn't a lot of fucking like hell. There's like 155ers that are like 6'2", like Shimaev and shit now.
Right.
Like and like I don't think it wasn't really like that back in the day. And then like same thing with 45. McGregor came in at like 5'11", at like fighting 45 and kind of changed
Holloway's
the game.
5'11".
Yeah, yeah. So he kind of got like evolved out of those. You like fuck being 5'6" and fighting at those divisions nowadays.
Yeah.
Like it does make. I understand why his coach was kind of pulling for that. That made sense to me.
Yeah, and honestly, he looked really effective at 135. Like he always said, his advantage at 45 and 55 was that he was faster than those other guys, and it's like, well, cool, but
Yeah,
they're catching up, and you're slowing down, I guess, or they're just catching up.
Man,
So I
Father
think,
Time's undefeated. Let's not forget. I think Frankie Edgar was 38, and he turns 39 next month or some shit like that. So I mean, like, let's
getting
not,
old, and he's fought for a long time. Like he has a lot of fight
yeah.
marks.
I was actually saying most fight time in UFC history. So he's
Yeah.
been inside an octagon and a UFC octagon longer than anybody else that's ever done it. And I mean, that's amazing. He's kind of like the Frank Gore of the UFC in a way.
Yeah.
How Frank Gore's played for like 8 teams. He's gonna fight in 8 different weight classes. Just like he's like the Frank Gore of the UFC. And that's not even a disrespect because I think Frank Gore's a Hall of Famer. So
Oh, for sure. So let me ask you, how did you score the first round?
the first round, all right.
Because the strike numbers were 23-23.
So I had it Munoz. I had it super close, but I had it Munoz. Actually, you know what? I actually had round 1 as a toss up in the stats, like you mentioned. So it was so funny. All right, sorry, I had to get my bearings straight. But when I was watching this first round, I finished it, and my eye test just left me so confused. Because what I try to do is just let my eye test tell me who won, and then if my eye test is confused, I'll go to the stats.
Right.
And my eye test was just like perplexed. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, who won that? And then I go to the stats, and just like you just said, the strikes, the significant strikes were exactly even, exactly the same. So I literally had a toss up, bro. You beat me to it. I was gonna ask you what you had. Yeah, round one toss up. I have zero issue with anybody scoring it either way, and I really do not envy the judges on that round.
So here's kind of what I thought. Actually, to be honest with you, and this is why I brought this up earlier, I thought this round was like literally exactly 50-50.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to what's that, like tertiary condition, ring generalship.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I actually thought Frankie Edgar like did a better job of controlling the exchanges, in my opinion, in the first round. So I leaned his way only on that.
Night were fucking had me drooling. They were
so
gorgeous. It looked like it looked like some shit you see like boxers doing in like Instagram videos to look cool.
Yeah.
And he was like actually doing it to a number 5 ranked Munoz, like
and landing him.
Yeah, just like fucking. It was like a speed bag. It was nuts. Like
he's got really good hands. He's got really good hands,
and he has such a unique style. Like I don't know, like everybody. I love his just like amped up. It's a throwback style. I mean, he's been doing it a long time. He fights like everybody nowadays wants to be like John Jones, like measured. Like
this like silky in and out movement.
Yeah, or like a McGregor, exactly. And like he's just like, no, I'm in a fucking fist fight. Let's fucking go. And it's just it's refreshing, man. And it worked. It was effective. And I always say things are cyclical. So it's like when the spread offense first came out in football, everybody couldn't adapt to it. But then by the time I got to high school and college, we were so used to the spread offense that what actually gave us problems was teams that ran like 2 tight ends, like an ace, or a team that ran up with a fullback. We were like, what the fuck? It changes everything. And so like what used to be cutting edge becomes normal. And then the old becomes the cutting edge again. That happens in football. It happens in basketball. And I think it may be happening with fighting because, like, eventually, I don't know. Things are always cyclical. It happens in music. It happens in fashion. The old becomes the new again. And that's what I saw last night with Frankie Edgar, just like his old school rowdy style. I see a place for it. You know what I'm saying? It was
I
effective.
I thought, yeah, I thought it was like a really old school style where he was just, I mean, down to exchange, but was smart about winning exchange. You know what I mean? Because Pedro Munoz, the whole time, you could tell in the first, was trying to shout out Nick, appreciate the birthday wishes. But you could tell the whole time he was trying to bait Edgar in these longer extended exchanges so he could land like a power shot by eating a
Yeah.
few early shots.
And he just
Well,
wasn't biting it. Like, he was just in and out.
so moving into the second round, I
Yeah.
thought it was like more of the same, except Frank Edgar got a takedown in the second round, if I'm not correct. Now, granted, he didn't hold him down for very long,
Yeah.
but
And
he did score that takedown.
they did score one, but also that's the second round is whenever Munoz cut his eye. So I gave round 2 to Munoz mainly for inflicting the damage of cutting his eye in that round. But you're right, he did have the takedown. So I could see that causing some confliction for the judges. Honestly, I could see that being a cause of controversy.
Well, and to be honest, I scored it for Frankie Edgar that round.
You did. See, I really valued that cut. Like, but granted, Edgar didn't really he was a badass about it and didn't really let it affect him. But I just that he opened up that cut in that round, so that
True.
I scored. But see, I think we've disagreed on both rounds or been up in the air and then disagreed. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense how the judges, because there was a wide range.
Well, it's weird scoring.
Yeah,
it's weird scoring. So who'd you have winning the third?
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm full of shit, man. So Munoz did cut his eye in round 2, but because of the takedowns, I did give round 2 to Edgar. I'm sorry.
Okay,
so
cool.
I have round 1 up in the air either way. Round 2 to Edgar. Round 3 I gave to Munoz because the leg kicks were inflicting the damage, and his jab was super effective.
And he was more active too. I thought he actually picked up his activity level in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which was good because he needed to do that.
Which is impressive. Not a lot of fighters can do that, and both of these guys were in phenomenal shape. Neither one of them was breathing. These guys could have gone 7.
Right? Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Edgar's leg could have gone 7, but his cardio could have gone 7.
His leg was messed up at the end.
After his post-fight interview, you see him limping off. It was gnarly good. But I mean, in the ring, man, he toughed it out. I mean, in the main event rounds, you could see it hurt him, but he was still effective. Round 3 I gave to Munoz.
Right, so we both have it. Well, if you were scoring the first one to Edgar, let's say you'd have it 29-28 to Edgar, and if you scored it for Munoz, then you'd have it 29-28 for Munoz right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a huge difference. That's like a huge if. Like, how did they score that first?
Yeah. Well, how do you think they scored the fourth?
The fourth. I also want to mention this is the point as when Israel Adesanya said tweeted out this fight has more combos than Burger King, and I love that. People would hate on Izzy on the pink hair, whatever. He's skinny. I fucking love Izzy. I can't wait to watch him whoop Paulo Costa. But
Bahachina.
Yeah. But I thought that was fire. That's a fire bar right there. More combos than Burger King. But I scored round 4 to Munoz. I thought he landed the bigger shots.
Me too.
Edgar landed a lot in that round, but they were kind of more peppery type shots. And Munoz was fucking landing with some thuds, some power. So I gave round 4 to Munoz.
Yeah, I thought Munoz threw more combinations in round 4. That he took that power edge off just a little bit because he was throwing super hard in the first 2. And then 3, 4, and 5, he scaled back just a little bit. It was actually starting to land because he scaled off that power just a little bit.
Yeah, but even with the scaled back power, it was still more power.
They were hard
than
shots.
Edgar.
Oh, they were hard shots.
Yeah.
And I thought in the 4th that Munoz won. So I actually had it scored 38-38 going into the 5th. Okay, which leads into I have as my notes for the 5th round. I don't know who won. So I don't know who won this fight at all, to be quite honest with you. Because I have 2 rounds that I have no idea about.
Who did you score 5? You don't know?
I guess Frankie Edgar.
I gave 5 to Edgar.
I think I gave it to Frankie Edgar, but then I saw the numbers and I was like, Munoz landed more, but I guess it was leg kicks. I don't know, man. But the leg kick damage in the 5th was crazy too.
Yeah, true that. Those in the moment with the eye test, and I didn't look at the numbers on that one. Frankie Edgar's right hand won that round for him, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And,
and I
and I
think
think a
most of
few
the judges
judges
and most people
agree
thought
with
that.
that.
Yeah.
Like he landed some clean rights.
Yeah, I guess if I had to lean one way, it'd probably be Edgar, then Munoz in the fifth, I think, is how I felt at the end of it.
And
But
we'll get to it. Like we mentioned this before in the breakdown. Whenever there's a split decision, which is what it ends up being, you essentially can't complain either way. Because the
right.
judges are essentially, by definition, admitting, like, yeah, could have gone either way. Like, we
But
have to
this
pick
one's a
somebody.
weird one almost, right? Where maybe you could complain whenever you see the scores and how they come out. Because the scores
Yeah, because then
were
it. Yeah, go ahead.
so Edgar wins by split decision, right?
Yes,
And the
Edgar
scores are
wins split
40,
decision.
48-47, 48-47, and then 46-49. So one judge scored 4 rounds for Munoz, whereas the other two only scored 2 rounds for him.
All right,
So
but I
that's
mean,
like
let's
big
say though,
disagreement.
but that's not that crazy to think about though, because round one could have easily gone to Munoz easily. We both agree round three went to Munoz. Round four definitely went to Munoz. At least I thought so.
Yeah.
And then we both admit that round five was kind of a toss up, could have gone to Munoz.
Right, but that seems biased to say that one judge scored all the toss-ups for Munoz in that situation, but I feel like I scored the toss-up rounds for Edgar in my scorecard, and I don't feel as questionable about it. So I guess
You
it's
know
just
what
weird in my
though, bro?
perception.
Like, I'd be lying. Like, you know, the whole heart versus brain thing. I'd be lying if my heart wasn't going for like Frankie Edgar. And
That's kind of how it's
that
kind of
can
how it
kind of make
feels.
you that can kind of make you give somebody a 50-50. Like maybe one of them rounds we gave Edgar, that maybe that was our heart talking. Maybe that was like not our fight IQ talking. Maybe that's like our we love this crazy story and like we've watched him fight since we were like teenagers.
And
Like
he's a plus 290 underdog. Like you
yeah.
want to see that happen.
Yeah, man. And maybe that happened to us. Maybe that happened to a few judges. So I'll say this. I'm not by any means neither guy got robbed. Either way it would have gone. It wasn't a robbery. They acknowledged it was a split decision. What I'm gonna say is whenever they did raise Edgar's hand, I was surprised yet super stoked. Like my gut reaction was like, oh shit, really?
I was like, oh, wow.
Like I was like, I don't know. It's like I wanted Edgar to win, and I was happy he won. But I was still like, oh shit, he actually won. Like the judges actually gave him that. Like, 'cause I could have seen a lot of scenarios where they just gave it to Munoz, kept his ranking, not, you know what I'm saying, shook things up too much. It's the easier thing to explain. You know what I mean? He's a younger fighter. Like there's a lot of things that like typically make those close ones lean a guy like Munoz's way.
So
We've seen
now
that happen.
So now do we get like a Jose Aldo Frankie Edgar fight or like a Pedro Munoz Jose
I
Aldo?
like the
Like,
old guy fights. I like the old guy fights
because like I just feel like for
because
Pedro Munoz, it's tough for him too because he like scored a knockout over Cody Garbrandt 2 fights ago, and like his stock had never been higher. He lost his last fight, now he lost this
I
fight, so
don't
2 fight
think
losing streak, but he's still like a top 135er.
I think I value that Garbrandt knockout less than they do.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have knocked out Cody Garbrandt. Like I'm not like this dead ass. Like, I'm not even trying to roast. Like a lot of people have. Like that's not like that elite territory of just like, oh, I gotta give you
But I
mad
think
props
he's
for
ranked
that.
like number 3 now in the
I
bantamweight
know.
division.
Yeah, and then he's getting the flyweight title shot. I think that's a
Right. Yeah.
joke too. I
Like I
think
just
that's a
feel like he
joke.
gets given a lot of clout because he's the former title holder at
Because he's a
135.
pretty motherfucker. Dana White likes throwing that tight little ass up in front of the camera. That's what it is. He's like a ring girl that gets punched. Nah, he's a great fighter and he's done a lot for the sport. I'm just kind of talking shit, but like I think I don't know. He's like the new Paige Van Zant maybe like
Oh no!
the.
Oh no!
Dude, so I didn't even know what bare knuckle fighting league was. I like looked it up.
It's
I thought they could
vicious.
at least grapple. They can't even
No,
grapple. You just have to
no, it's
stand there
boxing
and
with
bang.
yeah, it's boxing with just taped
I think
hands.
that's stupid. I think it would be actually really dope if you could grapple.
Yeah, it would be. But
It'd be way
do you see how
doper.
cut those people get?
I know, and it's like, but it makes it to where it's like you can't even really finish a fight. I don't know. It's not. I think if they added grappling, it'd be really dope and be kind of like early UFC. But
Yeah,
but yeah, I was watching. I was like, this is kind of lame. Like I don't know.
yeah. Bare knuckles hard to watch.
Because like there was like an actual boxer in there, and then the announcers were like, "Oh yeah, that boxing stuff's not gonna work in here." And I was like, "Well, so what is it? What skill is this?" If it's not,
It's street fighting, dude. It's like street
yeah,
boxing.
yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just like I don't know. I don't know why that was the move for Van Zant, but
Well, it's because boxers defend like this, but like when you don't have gloves, like I'm eating shots through the center of that guard all day.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, it was like I don't know. I was just watching it because I literally wanted to like educate myself on like what the fuck it is, but I didn't come away like a fan. Like honestly, I was just like, oh, this is like way just it's just like low level. To me, it's low level. Like after watching a bunch of UFC and then watching that, I was like, this is just like watching some eighth graders behind the woodshed, just fucking just.
Are you pumped for this Alexander Rakic Anthony Smith card next Saturday, right? This coming
Yeah, I
Saturday
think
though?
so. I need to look more into it. I'll be real. I haven't looked ahead to these. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm nervous to see Anthony Smith back in the octagon, man. You remember his last fight against Glover Teixeira where he's getting his teeth knocked out of his face and his corner wouldn't throw in the towel?
Oh yeah,
It was tough, man. This is his first
yeah.
fight back since then.
He might. Hey, I'm calling it now. He probably will get finished because like, because he's kind of older, right?
Yeah, like 35.
Yeah. So like, bro, your brain don't bounce back that fast from like a real ass whooping like that. I'm actually kind of calling that now. He probably is gonna get knocked out. That's my prediction. Write
I
it down.
hope.
Actually, write that down. Real talk. I want to see if
Okay.
it comes
All right.
true.
All right. All right. I
For
will
sure,
write
man.
down Rakic by knockout.
All right, for sure, brother. But yeah, man, that's episode 12, Beefy Boys Breakdown, wrapping up this main card. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. Thank you, Harrison, man. Have a
Yes,
good
sir.
day,
Love it.
everybody. Beefy Nation, we appreciate you. Go subscribe to the motherfucking YouTube, everybody. Beefy Boys Breakdown on YouTube. Go subscribe.
Yes, sir.